Hello, and welcome to Aldine ISD. I'm Willette Trotty-Aubrey, your Middle School Science Program Director, and welcome to Middle School Science Onboarding. As middle school science teachers, we naturally explore opportunities for neurological development. Our hashtag is Neon Noticings, and we encourage our middle school science teachers to show those students exploring the various aspects of science through the science and engineering practices and through our content. The one commonality amongst all public middle school science teachers in the state of Texas is that we all follow the same standards. In Texas, we call those TEKS, and they were last adapted in 2021. Sometimes you will hear our teachers refer to them as new standards. When we say new, we mean the newly adapted and implemented. These standards are similar but not the same as the NGSS or Next Generation Science Standards, though they have some similarities, including their connection to the science framework. Like NGSS standards and science framework, our TEKs are focused on teaching students content through the use of scientific and engineering practices while linking phenomena and recurring themes and concepts. Phenomena is an observable event like the sun rising and setting, lightning striking, and the different shapes of the moon. It is our goal to link science content to some of the overarching phenomena. Scientific and engineering practices are the mode of learning for our students. It ranges from students questioning science, to students designing a solution, to students communicating their scientific findings. Recurring themes and concepts, we refer to them as RTCs, help students make connections between science concepts and other topics, courses, and non science connections. And last but not least, our TEKS, or our Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. It's the package that combines our content requirements, SEPs, and recurring themes. Specifically, it lists out exactly what students need to know per grade level per science concept. You will find that Aldine ISD links their documents in one place, Schoology. Schoology is the platform that we use to house our curriculum documents, so I want you to take a moment to join. The Middle School Science Schoology group uses the code VF5RG2KS V9V33. You may want to pause this video while you join, but you all need to join. I'm going to show you where to locate everything in the Schoology platform once you have joined, but keep in mind, if you do not have Aldine ISD credentials, also known as your email, then you will not be able to join the group and you will need to rejoin. You will need to join once you have that credential. So once you get into Schoology, you will see our group looks like this. And we know it's ours because we have our lovely Texas, Neon Texas, reminding us what we do in middle school science. If you go to resources, this is where you will find all of the resources for all three grade levels. And so each grade band has their own folder: sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. And then we have district resources, district protocols, and then some of our other resources are here. I'm going to take you back to the PowerPoint so that you can see them a little bit differently. So we're going to start off with our YAG. Our YAG is a document that we've created for our parents. Our YAG stands for Year at a Glance. This document shows our parents exactly what topics our students will be learning for each 9 weeks. So let's pull up the sixth grade YAG. And you'll see that the YAG starts off with the first 9 weeks, and it starts off with our scientific and engineering practices. And so that's our what we call nature of science, if we call our unit, because we don't teach it like that anymore. But this is what is a part of our Strong Start for the district. And you'll learn more about Strong Start later on. After our strong start 3 days, then we go to our unit matter of energy and those topics. Then we go to our unit force, motion, and energy and those topics. Then we go to our unit earth and space and those topics. And then we go to our unit organisms and environments in those topics. Now, each grade level has the same unit names because our unit names are coming from our reporting categories from our STAR assessment. Remember, 8th grade takes our STAR, but every grade level contributes to our STAR. So let's go back to our document. And our next major document that is really important for our teachers to utilize is our pacing guide. Our pacing guide is like a combination between a scope and sequence and a calendar. In other words, it tells our teachers what dates teachers are teaching certain topics and how long they have to teach it. So this time we will pull up 7th grade. And you'll see those strong start dates that I referred to on the last clip. Here they are, 1, 2, 3. So as a district, we do what we call a strong start, where we emphasize procedures and opportunities for our students to learn basic information about our campuses and our classrooms and how to proceed with fidelity. Then we start teaching content. So as you'll see on our pacing guide, matter and energy, that unit starts on August the 17th. And then we have our TEKS listed at the top in red. We have our due now because every campus, every class does due now every day. And we have our unit and then our chapter number and our lesson title. So chapter 1, the lesson title that we're going to be using for the 17th is elements and compounds. So we have lesson 1, day 1, and we're going to start off with our engage. Here in Alding, we follow the 5E model, and we start off with our engage. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the class period, every class period, we have an exit ticket. So you see the pattern. We also have what we call high impact lessons. So those will have a little target symbol. And that means that those lessons have other lessons that build upon them. So those are our target lessons. And we also have reinforced TEKS. And so for us, our reinforced TEKS are our review. So if our students are going to review something that they've done previously, we'll show our reinforced TEKS. So for this grade level, 7th grade, our reinforced TEKS pop up at the end of the first semester where they're reviewing before they take their end of the semester assessment. And you'll see that that is designated by LCP. So LCP stands for Learning Checkpoint. And this one is 90 minutes because it is a cumulative assessment that grades or assesses the entire first semester. You'll get more in depth into pacing guides when you meet with our team in August. So let's go back to our PowerPoint and look at our district protocols. There's a process that we use here in Aldine to go through our planning, and we call that our protocols. Now, our protocols are developed so that everybody in the district has the same basic foundation for how they're planning. We plan through a process that we call CBPL, which is curriculum-based professional learning. We have 4 different protocols: our unit unpacking, lesson internalization, lesson rehearsal, and student analysis. All 4 of these protocols we will go into more depth shortly. Our next curriculum document is the unit guide. The unit guide gives our teachers more depth in what students need to know and preceding topics and what they will need to know for the future topics, future grade levels. So let's go into the 8th grade unit guides. Again, you'll see that they have the same unit numbers and the our reporting categories. So let's go into Unit 1 for 8th grade. It tells us our title, about how many days it would take to teach this section or this unit. We have linked in here our year at a glance and our pacing guides as well. We have also linked in here our Onboarding ISD framework, which is very important, is what our foundation. We have our RTCs and scientific engineering practices linked as well. Then you see our previous grade standards, the target grade level standards, and the next level grade standards. So we know that in 8th grade, these are our target grade level standards, 8.6A, 8.6B, and 8.6E. But then we know that previously our students received information that supports these standards in 7th grade with 7.6A, 7.6B, and 7.6C. And then our students will also use their knowledge from this in chemistry and in IPC. It is very important to note that our unit guide highlights a few things. It highlights our clarifying statements, which are statements that are used to help support teachers know exactly what our students need to know for the unit. It highlights academic vocabulary and prerequisite knowledge, and it highlights our misconceptions, things that our students may be confused about or may already come in with misnomers. All right. And I stated earlier that Onboarding ISD follows the 5E model for middle school science. Just in case you want to know or want access to other resources, we have also linked in our state resources, which are our TEKS, our TEA TEKS guides, and our RTCs, and our scientific and engineering practices. So now let's talk a little bit about our curriculum resource for Onboarding ISD middle school science. We use Texas Science, which is by McGraw-Hill. Our students access McGraw-Hill through ClassLink, though sometimes our teachers also drop links to ClassLink in Schoology. Either way is okay. We just need to make sure that our students are using our Texas Science resource as their curriculum and no outside resources unless previously approved. Our teachers have two options. They have what we call a hard copy edition, and that should be located somewhere on your campus. And then we have the online or the digital version. Students also have a consumable workbook on campus that's delivered to each campus at the beginning of the school year. So let's go a little bit more in depth about our CBPL expectations and our protocols. We have expectations for every role in our district: teachers, assistant principals, district leaders, etc. But today we're going to focus in on our teacher CBPL expectations. We expect our teachers to come to CBPL prepared and ready to participate in our curriculum-based professional learning. That means that teachers should have already internalized and annotated a lesson. That means that teachers should come prepared and ready to do a lesson rehearsal when they're told or when they have agreed upon. And that we also expect teachers to come and have their materials gathered with them and their student work gathered with them to CBPL. We also expect teachers to participate in CBPL. It's not something to just come and be a passive learner or listener. We expect our teachers to be active and participating in working together to support the learning of our students. We expect them to hold themselves accountable and adhere to our CBPL norms. For middle school, CBPL is expected daily. So let's go to our protocols. We have what we call our unit unpacking protocol. And the unit guide basically is what I showed you a little bit earlier. You'll take the unit unpacking protocol and you'll go through the unit guide and you'll go through your curriculum resource and you'll collaborate with your teammates. And so this is what our unit unpacking guide looks like. It reminds you that you need to review any assessments that are associated with the unit. It reminds you that you need to make sure that you have talked about misconceptions and make any star connections that you can. Then, when your lesson is printed and ready to annotate, teachers on their own do lesson internalization. Then, as a group, they do what we say are the words in red. So, personally, individually, teachers go through and they look at their students, they look at the lesson, they determine what they may need support in, they determine what activities they're going to utilize and how they're going to utilize them. As a team, they plan for error and they do at least one means of participation together so that they can use that as student work analysis. And here are some other resources besides McGraw-Hill Texas Science, Elevation, and Accommodation Central for our students who have individual education plans. Now, once the lesson has been printed and annotated and the materials are needed and determine what materials are needed, our teachers have the opportunity to rehearse. We ask that you focus rehearsing on the explore, the explain, and the elaborate. A lot of times it's easier to practice the engage, but our students need the most support in our explain, and I think that that's the area where our teachers should do the most rehearsing in. And so we have a lesson rehearsal protocol, and each teacher is given or they divvy up a part of the lesson to practice with their peers, which are the other teachers, and their peers give them feedback based on information and notes that they have written down. Remember, lesson rehearsal is meant to improve the delivery for our students. So positive but accurate feedback is what's needed. Then we also look at what we call active observation. Active observation gives us the opportunity to look at student work. And so during active observation, our teachers are walking around and they are looking at our students' work. They are looking to see if they have learned or understand it, and they are grouping their students based on what they have learned or what they have not learned. Then our teachers will bring these work samples back to the group and they discuss them and calibrate as a team. And we divide these work samples into did not meets, meets, and masters. As a district, we have instructional priorities, and one of our instructional priorities is our SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Each grade level has their own set of SMART goals. Sixth grade, the first 9-week SMART goal is 6.6C. And then this is the second 9-week SMART goal, 6.7B, third, and fourth. Seventh grade follows the same pattern. They have a first 9-week SMART goal, which is 7.6C, and then second 9 weeks, third 9 weeks, and fourth 9 weeks. Now, if you are a new 8th grade teacher, your pattern is slightly different. We utilize 2 SMART goals during the first 9 weeks, 8.6E and 8.7B. And then we have a SMART goal for the second 9 weeks and a SMART goal for the third 9 weeks. We do this because by the fourth 9 weeks, our students are testing for STAR, and then we do teach a little more, but we have not set SMART goals for that area. All right, last but not least, science outside of the classroom. Here in Aldine, we believe that our students need opportunities to practice science inside and outside the classroom. And so we have 2 main opportunities for our students to do that. One is our science fair, and the other one is our day of design. Now, science fair starts off during the school year with teachers. Teachers are to support students in the science fair process, which means they are making observations, asking questions, formulating ideas, and using complex analytical reasoning skills to find answers to a solution or problem. And then they have to effectively present their work. They do this for science and engineering. After classroom science fairs, then we have campus science fairs, and campus science fairs move on students to district science fair. And then the district science fair moves students on to the Science and Engineering Fair of Houston, which is what we call our regional science fair. Now, if students place first and second in the classroom fair, they move on to the campus fair. First and second on the campus fair moves to the district fair. First and second on the district fair moves to the Science and Engineering Regional Fair. And first and second in the Science and Engineering Regional Fair leads them to state competition, which usually happens at Texas A&M University in College Station. Whoop. Now, let's talk about Day of Design. Day of Design is the opportunity to recognize the value of design and the capacity to effect change. On this day, we ask that our students come with an open mind and ready to be innovative and purpose-driven solutions finders. We ask that our teachers come and volunteer for this day to help lead these sessions, but not just science teachers. Because it is a STEAM day, we actually have teachers who participate in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so we ask teachers to come and support our teachers. This year, we'll have it on May 1st. It'll be at Davis High School. Just to wrap up what we've talked about today, we've talked about our CBPL protocols. We've given a TEKS overview, reminding you all that we are neon noticings for our hashtag. We've talked about our curriculum documents, our CBPL roles and expectations, science fair and day of design, and Texas Science. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to meeting you in your classroom. Have a great school year. If you need anything, please email me at wftrotty-aubrey@aldinisd.org. Have a great day.